I started with Patek when I was 18 years old, so I still don't remember exactly which year it was, but it's a long time ago. And today I'm 48 and willing to continue until maybe 49, 50. No, I'm kidding, you can cut that. When I started, I didn't look at the watchmaking in terms of movement, actually. I remember very well opening those drawers and looking at those beautiful pocket watches, yes, and they were made of enamel. So my whole, I would say, beginnings in terms of learning process was more focused on how to create a watch. And when I say a watch, I'm talking more about the cases and the bracelet. That was really important for me at the time. I was way too young maybe also to understand the level of quality who was inside the movement. So when I started, I remember I was in Atelier Réuni, who is today actually the building where we have our museum. But at the time, this building was dedicated to the case factory. And the idea, I think, when I talked with my dad at the time, I asked him, what should I do actually? He said, well, you have two opportunities. Either you will go to university and study really the whole, I would say, financial side, or you will go and work with Patek and do every step of it, so you will learn about the brand, the knowledge, the skills, and the DNA. And I was really thinking about that, and then I say, well, you know, I prefer to work really at the bench, to learn about really the process and everything, because it was easier to hire somebody who has talented skill in financial side or marketing side, and there was nobody that I could hire who had the DNA of the brand. So I chose really to work at Patek Philippe to really keep and learn about the process and the DNA, as I say, of the brand. So every time I was talking with someone, they were teaching me some little part of it. Some of those people are not willing to share secrets, the way how they are making those watches. But with me, they were agree, I would say, in one sense, to say, okay, you're going to take over Patek Philippe, I'm going to show you how we really create the finest watches. So I had to spend a long time just looking at them, talking with them, and sometimes also touching the pieces, because of course at the time I was way too young really to work on a machine or even to polish a watch. You know, I didn't know how to do that. But months after months, year after year, I started to learn about it. I started to learn about the quality. The mentality also is very important, and as I said, the DNA of Patek Philippe. And that was really maybe the most important part of it, because today, if I have to take a decision, I do know how long and how difficult it is to create something. And that gives you not only internally a very strong credibility, but I think also externally. When you are talking with customer, they do understand that we are first talking about watches. It's not only a business. As you mentioned, it's a passion. And that's a passion that I really had since I was very young. And since today, I have been learning that, you know, and every day it's a new day, there's a new process, there's a new idea, new machine, and I need really to know about it. So my way how to manage Patek Philippe today, it's more to walk around, to talk with people, not only inside Patek Philippe, but also working like today here, I mean, traveling to go to Bangkok, but it can be also anywhere in the world, and meeting the retailers, meeting the final client. That makes maybe the difference. You need, as a family business, to be very close from your partner and your final client also. And if you know about the product, it's much easier also. I think when people talk with me, they can feel about the passion about the watches and not the passion about the financial side. Finance will come if you have a good product. Well, then I think, of course, you can sell it in the easiest way in one sense. If you have a bad product, it's much more complicated. So I decided really to focus more on the product first. There is no limit. There is no, I would say, agreement about to say, okay, it's not perfect, but let's go. No, it has to be perfect. If it's not the case, we're going to redo it. And that allows me really to talk and to face client and to say, what you will get, it's really the finest watches in the world. I know why, because I was behind it from the beginning until the end. And still today, you know, there's only the family who is in charge for the creation, for example. So even from the first idea, the first little sketch, the first little drawing, this is part of the Stern family. This is really the position I will never give up, to be frank, like my father, like my grandfather. This is the beauty of our job. We do create the future of the watches. And today it's also about the movement, of course, because I grew up and I learned also how to understand the technical side of it. And when you have to dream and to think about a new watch, you also have to think about a new movement. This is maybe the most challenging part. All of that gave me a strong credibility, I would say, to run Patek Philippe. The rest was easy to learn, to be frank. After that, I would say the whole commercial part, the whole financial part, it's not that complicated, you know. If you do understand what you are doing, what you are producing, the rest will follow. But you need to be sure that what you have in mind, what will be created, is really at the highest standard. That's what our clients expect from us. Remaining family-owned business allows me really to control my own destiny. That means that I'm able to choose the best for Patek Philippe and the retailers and my client. Talking about watches, also planificating the future. I can see 20, 30 years in advance. I do not have any shareholders pushing me to make quick money, to make decisions who are not right for the brand, but maybe better for the profit. So this is really a big chance for us because I can work on the long term. And I think that for our client, that's what they expect from Patek Philippe. You know, when you are spending a lot of money by building your collection, or for the retailers, when he is really willing to work with Patek, opening a new store, that's also a big investment. It's not something which is easy to do. Well, he knows that with Patek there is a future who is not going to change. That means that the strategy will remain always the same, because I have no shareholders pushing me one day to be a sports line watch, the next day a fashion watch because it's tendency. No, I have a vision who is quite clear. We talk with them also. When I say them, it's the retailer. They know about our vision, and that allows them to planify the future very well. And as I said, there is no compromise. That's what I like also. And I can also take decision in a minute. You know, if we have to open, I don't know, a new place with a retailer, well, I can say yes or not in 5 minutes. If you are part of a group, you can't. It has to go back to all the different steps, and after 6 months, you may have a response. This is not very efficient for me. So I would rather prefer to stay family business. It's easier, it's more professional in one sense, and it gives you a strong visibility and a strong credibility. We are watchmaker, and that means that we are producer. I don't want to start to open my own boutique, because that means I will have to spend maybe half of my energy working on that. And I do not have the time to do it, to be frank, and I do not see why I should do it. We have been working with partners for so many years. So as long as those partners are doing a proper job, they know about Patek today, they know how to sell it, they know how to represent it, why should I do it? You know, it's really not in my strategy to open my own store. This will only happen if one day no more retailers will be able to sell Patek Philippe. Then yes, I will have to think about it. Should it be internet? Should it be boutique? I will have to make a choice. But today there is no reason at all to do that, and I have no envy at all to handle that. You know, if I have to start to open boutique in the USA, in Europe, in Asia, in Middle East, I have no more time to create watches. So I choose to work only on movement, on case, bracelet, and to leave I would say the retail to the finest retailers in the world. They are doing a good job today, and I think it has to stay like this, really. You know, it's always the same. Those groups today who are opening their own boutique, they just look at one thing. It's full margin. We are always coming back to what? Making money. But first, and I think it's important, I mean, I don't blame them, but at Patek, I always think first I'm making watches. Money will come, but focus on watches. Talk about product. I don't care about figures. Figures, if I'm doing a good job, they will come. And maybe that's a difference also. This is why I cannot focus on making watches and selling them. No, it's not possible. It's quite similar in one sense as what we feel in Switzerland. It's quite interesting in one way. We are so far from each other, two different culture, two different type of weather, but if I look at it, the mentality is pretty much the same, you know. We like to enjoy, but we also like perfection. So it's a mix between really having a good time and having something who is not unique, I cannot say that, but something who is really perfectly done, you know. And I would say that when I met just before, for example, some younger kids, they know so much already about Patek, and they are so careful the way how they are wearing their watches also. And that's something who is quite interesting, because I told to one of them, I said, don't be afraid, you know, we can fix it. But he knew about it. He said, yes, I know, I have been visiting your factory, I have been looking at it. So this new generation they are lucky because they learn from their parents, maybe about the story, about the family, about my family, about Patek, but they also go on internet. They also go now on Instagram. So it's quite important to see that, yeah, there's a new generation who is really, they are willing to learn, and they are using every tools. And that's something who is important for me. And when I look at them, they are no different as the Swiss collectors that we have. You know, same objective, having the finest watches, waiting for them, and once they have it, they're willing to wear them also. And that's what is important finally, you know, at the end. It's you need to wear them. And this is what I like when I'm coming here. They are wearing their watches. They do not stay in the safe. They enjoy to wear it. And that's something who makes it very similar as what I can also see and try to explain in Switzerland. You know, enjoy them. Well, it's difficult, but I would say it's more about, I don't know if it's about the watches or if it's more about the mentality of the brand as a family, you know, brand. They like the value that we have. Those values are very simple because they are their family values, you know, how to be educated, how to respect people. And I think that's what makes the link, you know. The watches, for sure, they're important, but they may also appreciate it because it's a little bit like, well, if I look at the Calatrava line or even the Nautilus, it has been there for so many years and improvement have been done, yes. But the watch, it's a little bit like the Porsche 911, you know, same design, but it evolves all the time. And I think they recognize that. The parents, they have the older version, the younger generation, they have the new version. They look nearly the same, not exactly. Some are today a little bit bigger because the demand is for bigger watches, maybe a different color, but the DNA is still there, and that's the link between them, I think. But more important, I would say, maybe I'm wrong, but it's the value who represent I would say the manufacturer, Patek Philippe, who is touching them, who is making really the real ingredient, who put them together. And that's what is important finally, you know, at the end. It's you need to wear them. And this is what I like when I'm coming here. They are wearing their watches. They do not stay in the safe. They enjoy to wear it. And that's something who makes it very similar as what I can also see and try to explain in Switzerland. You know, enjoy them.